It's super exciting to be here with you. I know there is quite a few who took the time to participate. I actually haven't checked the latest numbers. I think I would be like overly nervous. I'm pretty sure it's about 100 of people there, and that means it's like 5 times more than my tolerance level. So we'll see how this goes. My topic for today for you is continuous discovery and product discovery in general. It's something I'm passionate about, and it's a bit of a journey for me. To be quite frank, 18 months ago, I didn't know anything about product discovery. And since then, I've learned a lot, and I would love to share part of the journey with you, and specifically how that journey unfolded for a segmentation, which is an initiative I'm currently working on in Productboard. All right, let's see how this can go. So first, I think it would be useful for us to get on the same page, and I would love to offer you a couple of tips and learnings that might help you to conduct your own product discovery. And in the second part, I would like to guide you through how we do it for the segmentation initiative, which is something I'm currently very interested in. Well, who am I? I'm a product designer at Productboard. It's a San Francisco-based company with a large product organization presence in Prague. We are building software as a service tool for other companies who largely build also software products, but we have a couple of customers that build products which are not software, like hardware or work in automotive industries and such. And we have a couple of exciting logos among our customers, and how that ties to product discovery is that I had the opportunity to talk to a couple of very interesting people about the way they do segmentation, they do road mapping, which was my previous effort at Productboard, and ultimately can learn from them how to do product discovery itself. I've been at Productboard for about a year and a half. My background is in computer science, and I'm super curious how I can build products that actually matter, which just happens to be Productboard's mission. So let's start on the drier side. What is product discovery? Well, product discovery, it's the process of actively capturing, researching, and prioritizing user needs, as well as collecting and validating solution ideas for addressing them. And I'm going to make a huge assumption, but pretty sure either of these is your reaction. So let's unfurl it a little bit. Product discovery is a process, and apart from it being a scary word for some, this is a good thing, because that means we can replicate it and navigate things with certain ease. Just repeat a thing with confidence and use it to collect input. It's a process to help us capture, research, and prioritize user needs. And so this is more or less a process about learning and prioritizing what to build. And it's also a process to collect and validate solution ideas. So it's not only about learning kind of in the, let's say, academic way. It's also about bringing things that we've designed and built and validating those. You might have heard this distinction, which maybe like dual track agile and such frameworks make. Product discovery is about what to tackle next, and delivery would be how to best build it. And today we will talk a lot about the former. So why we are undertaking this discovery, the intent there is to learn and to ensure that we are driving towards the most desirable outcomes. We will elaborate on what that means in a second, but I would love to stress the learn part here. I think it's a really good mindset to conduct discovery with that in mind. Productboard is big on Marty Cagan. He wrote a couple of amazing books, Inspired being one of them. And his website, Silicon Valley Product Group, and his organization also publishes a number of great articles. And he talks about 4 risks in product development. One is value risk. If I build it, will it actually bring any value to the customer, to the user? Usability risk. Will the user be able to use the thing if I build it in a certain way? Feasibility risk is, will I be even able to build it? Is it within my power? Does this technology required exist? And business viability risk, which is, if all this holds, can I actually build a business around it, and will that business be sustainable? And product discovery is a great way to address these 4 risks. Obviously, this is just a model. You might have a different one, but I think it nicely decomposes this kind of like a big cloud of risks that come in when it comes to product development. And so the goal here, apart from learning itself, is to decrease these risks, de-risk your product creation just enough. And the just enough part that will connect to the speed with which we conduct discovery. This is a quote from a colleague of mine, Martin Felsman, a great product manager, currently our director of product. And he believes that the biggest risk is in the opportunity space. So that means it's pretty wasteful to build something that looks opportune, but you don't actually know it's valuable. And so if you build something that has no relevance, you waste a lot of resources, ultimately everything. And there is also a quote from Cagan saying something similar, that the most expensive feature is one that gets built but is never used. And so I would like to offer a very simple 3-step approach to product discovery and how to address these 4 big risks. By involving your colleagues in product discovery, by jumpstarting it, and by keeping at it, accelerating product discovery. What do I mean by involvement in product discovery? Well, I'm going to make a couple of assumptions. I'm going to assume that, as we've seen on the slide, we are product designers. Some of you are user experience designers. Some of you might be product managers. And so I think it would be fair to assume that you are also familiar with product teams, cross-functional squads from the Spotify model and so on. And so this is what I mean by a team. It's a small squad of people that is responsible for delivering customer value. And I think it's fairly important to involve everyone in product discovery, because then you are drawing from the brain power of everyone, and you are giving them the information and the tools so that they can make great, informed, independent decisions. And it might look somewhat like this. There might be a lot of people doing a lot of things at the same time, and yet they ultimately build a shed because they are aligned, they are well informed, they understand they are building a shed, and that's what they are going to build in the end. Reality, and even in our case, is almost as good. Our product teams are typically a product manager, product designer, 5 engineers, a QA person, maybe a topic expert or domain expert. And in reality, we can't always involve everyone. And sometimes that also means that we only involve product manager, designer, and an engineer in product discovery. So each of the roles is represented in there so that they can bring their individual perspective into the mix. But there is, let's say, room for improvement when it comes to involving everyone. And I just wanted to bring this to your attention. This is sort of out of scope for us. Dual track agile plays very nicely with product discovery, where at the same time as you are kind of discovering things, you are also building the pipeline for things that you will be bringing into future discovery, and you have this like nice cyclical pipeline of things that you would like to learn about, validate, and then draw conclusions from those learnings and build new things. And I think this picture kind of nicely outlines how that might look like. It's a little chaotic, perhaps. It's a little bit messy, perhaps, but it actually works. And so when I talk about empowerment, I just needed to share this picture, which is like an actual session of one of our teams where they are just watching recordings from usability sessions, and you know, they don't look bored. I like that. It's great that the entire team can get interest in what the customer is going through, and I'm pretty sure the next time, like 3 amazing smaller improvements were implemented just based on this experience. And so to sum up here, help everyone to make more informed decisions faster, help teammates to act more independently, don't create bottlenecks, actually remove them, and collaborate, leverage individual strength. Then next part, you don't need to start from scratch. 1 second. You probably know a lot about the thing you are about to build already. And so that's when you start with product discovery, it's a good time to kind of take a breath in and ask yourself, what are the information sources that you already have and the data at your disposal? And maybe you might want to start with them, you know, before you kind of run to customers and start talking with them, which is not, you know, never a bad idea, but, you know, start with what you already have. What is it that you already know? What do your colleagues know? This happens to be a screenshot from the tool that we are building at my company, and there is a lot of information in this kind of written form available. So when we start product discovery, we typically take a look here, and that gives us a good sense of what to actually even focus on and how to kind of formulate our hunches and hypotheses. And obviously talk to customers. I cannot stress this enough. I don't think I need to evangelize that here, but also consider what would be the best angle to do that, to bring your designs and questions to customers. And so, like a really simple framework, just a couple of examples really. Let's say you want to ideate. You don't have particular solutions yet, so just brainstorm. Bring together a couple of people from your company, from customer success, from sales, put them into one room and run a short workshop. Mind map what they have in mind, do storyboarding or conduct a design sprint. I'll be sharing a couple of pictures from our design sprint for segmentation in a second. You might want to prototype. If you already have some ideas, you might want to bring them to life. Choose a format that will help you learn quickly. We use Figma a lot. There is Framer, Sketch. There are high fidelity prototype tools. And, you know, piggybacking on what I said about collaboration, you can work together with an engineer to build something which is much more refined, especially if you want to work with live data. And obviously, test. You know, you already have your solution, you already know what you are building, and you just maybe want to tackle that feasibility risk and usability risk I talked about. And so here are a couple of examples how you might want to tackle that. And so again, going back to the original point, just consider what the best means at any given time is. And again, a quote from a colleague of mine, it's really useful for product discovery to kind of keep your mind open, even if it's a little bit uncomfortable, and don't converge too soon. Like, try to draw conclusions and yet not to overcommit at the same time. So when you start product discovery, to sum up, use all your resources. You already know a lot. You have a lot at your disposal. Seek it, tap it, and build confidence. At the same time, keep your mind open. And then when you have all this, when you've kickstarted your discovery, you have your empowered, involved product team, do it continuously. We talked about it being a process, something you can lean onto. And so build a process and build this sort of sliding window of learning where you focus on individual parts as they evolve over time, focus on your unknowns and abandon your knowns. Make a habit of it. Do a couple interviews every week. Don't do it just for the sake of doing it, though. And this is something that I would like to stress because that's one of my recent learnings. when I was introduced to the concept of continuous discovery, I thought, okay, this is a neat idea. We'll talk to 3 customers every week, and make sure that we are learning something. But there is more to it. I'm gonna show you what that is in a second. One thing that generally works for me, and I'll show you a couple of deliverables in a second. Just don't rely on words. Bring images, bring examples, bring slides, notes. Focus attention to whatever you would like to discover, whatever you would like to validate, and also aim to bring your most recent work to those sessions so that you can satisfy the metaphor of that sliding window of learning about the state of the art, about the most recent and best things that you have at the moment in your initiative. And also try to make decisions on the run, because you want to unblock your team and they need to proceed with maybe implementation even. And so just make the best decision you can at the given time. You can't take forever, because you usually have competition and other people interested in that space. And so here we are concluding this intro part about empowerment, about kickstarting and accelerating product discovery. Just keep at it, keep discovering, build a sustainable cadence. Sustainable being the operative word. You cannot do it if you actually can't spare time. You need to rearrange things in your calendar so that you can do this. But there's value. I think you can. Show up with your most recent work, so that you are not over validating or over discussing stuff that you already know enough about, and make the best decisions you can at any given time, and make decisions. So encounter with reality. In the ideal world, this is how I would conduct product discovery with all this. And so how this looked like in the case of segmentation, the initiative I'm working on in Productboard. So really quickly, what is segmentation? Well, there's this myth of an average customer. So let's say you are a company that caters to a couple of different user personas. Maybe you are building a swimming pool, a popular metaphor at Productboard, and you run a survey at a small town, and the results of the survey is that there are 3 main feature requests. Let's call them needs for the sake of the argument, but it's really, people want 3 things. They want swim lanes, they want an auditorium, and they want starting block for their new swimming pool. That's what the survey is about a swimming pool. And so it turns out that most people actually want the auditorium, benches to sit on and observe what's going on in the pool, which is a neat idea. So as a product manager, you make a decision to start with that and build an auditorium. And then, at the opening day, people come in and there are no swim lanes, no starting blocks, no swimmers, because there is no swimming pool, and so there is nothing to watch. And just because you kind of averaged the results and the most important thing turned out to be the auditorium, you build the wrong thing. And so that's why we segment. We strive to unaverage the customer, dissect it, and classify, define personas, and identify clusters in the audience, and understand what the individual personas need. And we strive to build meaningful, let's say, minimum viable products for each of these personas or segments. Those personas might be individual people, it might be companies. There are various ways of approaching it, but this is what segmentation is about. And so how did we start product discovery and segmentation? Well, we ran a design sprint because we were in the beginning. We did our homework. We read all the insights we had captured for this in Productboard, and we realized we just don't know enough to act on them. And so we put together a cross-functional team of, let's say, 6 people, and we ran a shortened version of a design sprint from the agile and smart playbook. From that, we built a couple of more refined ideas, which I then refined more, and prototypes. This is still the sprint. As you can see, we are proceeding and converging to a couple of interesting ideas. That's why they were awarded with the yellow stars. And this is the first starting point for me. This is what I was about to prototype as the first, let's say, design deliverable of this initiative. And so I just took things to Figma and my notebook, which I happened to forget to take a pictures of for you. Sorry about that. And so I built a couple of prototypes because we knew that at the end of the sprint, we should validate. That's part of the sprint. And for that, we elected to have a couple of interactive flows so that we can bring something more concrete to the customers, which, if you recall, was one of the advice that I gave you, to bring your most recent visuals. Well, there were no more recent than these because they were, all that we had at the time. And then at a certain point, we realized that we want to go deeper, that we maybe validated and some of the early solutions, and we knew how to improve on them and how to change them. And we also started getting more detailed hunches about how certain parts of the interface should look like and what should they actually cover. And so we started focusing on them and diverging in a more specific manner, how filtering could work and what is the best indication for the things that we were addressing. And then also we had these particular interfaces for working with Salesforce, an important data source for segmentation, because that's a CRM, customer relationship management system. And we knew that we want to bring the data from our customer Salesforce instances, something we validated before. We knew most of our customers from our target segment were using Salesforce. And so we wanted to make sure that they can actually take advantage of their data. And we brought this to them and gotten some feedback, and they told us things about it. And the next day I had something slightly different because I understood better what is it that they need there. They don't need mapped the information, they just need to pull it in. So I simplified the interface and brought that to the next session the next day. Well, and so where we are with this initiative. So we are in early delivery. So our discovery still continues. We are focusing on more detailed part and kind of also charting the horizons of what segmentation Productboard could do and how we might use it for other jobs to be done. And it happened that I realized, with the help of our more seasoned colleagues, that this is maybe not the best way to conduct discovery. There is more to do in a better way. And so my outlook for product discovery here is to try to be more explicit when formulating our hypotheses. We were using a metric of sorts of, what do we want to learn about, and do we know enough about it, and are we still learning from these interviews, and is this a good time to move on, which I guess is a common sense, and it's not entirely wrong, and it helped us build the feature in a much better way. But still, this hypothesis is this challenging ourselves to be quite specific about what we are discovering and why, what we are expecting to find, and maybe where exactly our uncertainties lie. Sounds like a really, really good idea. If we have this, then we can frame experiments concretely. I was giving you a couple of examples of various exercises you can do and prompting you to choose the most suited one, the best suited one. And I think with this, we might be in a much better position to actually make the right choice there. We would like to start experimenting with confidence as a guiding metric. I mentioned that we were thinking, what are we learning? Are we learning enough? Is there more to learn? Which makes sense, but still, can we express that more concretely? Can we say how confident we are about this hypothesis? Do we, how much more do we think we need to learn? Is the confidence high enough so that we can take the risk, which we ultimately should, because the alternative is taking forever. And next to last, we want to involve more people in our efforts, not only the product team, but also our broader product organization and the entire company. We are very much product-led company, and people have appreciation for products, and they have useful inputs for us. And by having this lightweight yet specific framework, I think it's going to be much easier for them to participate. And ultimately, any good product has a roadmap, and I think product discovery effort should be part of that roadmap, and not only a tactical plan, not only something that kind of precedes the sprint. And so these are opportunities that we currently see and have to put in practice. And I'm pretty sure, 3-6 months from now, I'll know more about these, and I will be able to tell that some of these don't actually work all that well in our context, and I'll have like 5 more to explore next, which is super exciting. And I think one of the biggest takeaways here is to just do the thing, because the discovery is not done for the sake of the discovery. We are learning and validating and disproving. But whatever you do, if you do it a lot, it's always an opportunity to get better at it, and it's something I personally enjoy greatly. So again, going back and maybe I can now speak even to myself, involving everyone. Have I involved my entire team? No, just the 3 representatives of the 3 roles. It's a good start, but there are 3 or 4 people who are just passive consumers of our discovery efforts. Kickstarting it, well, yeah, we are reading our insights. We are talking to internal people. Have we built the right network? Our organization currently counts 180 people, which is not big, but I certainly don't know everyone personally, and so they might have useful insights. We have quite a robust data platform, which I cannot use fluently yet. And we have an actual team who is taking care of that, and it will take me a while to get my bearings there. And in terms of accelerating continuation, I said that we have a nice cadence of continuous product discovery, but are we explicit about formulating the sliding window of discovery? Are we formulating hypotheses? We are not. So yeah, I think I'm going to be returning to this slide and framework, just to check on myself and our team, to see how can we do this better in a smarter way. If you are interested, we wrote a book on product discovery. This is it. I'm pretty sure you cannot retype the address. It's not very friendly, but maybe the QR code is. It's a very short read, full of practical advice, and so you might want to take a look at that. And with that, that's all from my side. Thank you so much for your attention. It's been a pleasure presenting for you.